Imagine a palace filled with tension, where a tormented king wrestles with darkness, and a young shepherd boy chosen by God steps into the spotlight with nothing but a harp and a heart full of faith. This is the story of David playing the harp for Saul, found in 1 Samuel 16:14-23, a moment where God's providence weaves together two lives in a divine plan. For every Christian watching, this is more than a story. It's a reminder that God places us exactly where He needs us, even in the midst of chaos. So let's journey to ancient Israel, where a boy's music becomes a vessel for God's peace. The scene opens with King Saul, once the hope of Israel, now a shadow of his former self. God's Spirit has left him because of his disobedience, and an evil spirit sent by God torments him, plunging him into fits of despair and rage. 1 Samuel 16:14. His servants, desperate to help, suggest finding a skilled musician to soothe his troubled soul. Let our Lord command His servants to seek out a man who is skillful in playing the lyre, they say, and when the evil spirit is upon you, he will play, and you will be well. 1 Samuel 16:16. Saul agrees, and the search begins. Enter David, the young shepherd, freshly anointed by Samuel as God's chosen king. He's back in Bethlehem, tending sheep, unaware that his life is about to change. One of Saul's servants knows of him, saying, "I have seen a son of Jesse the Bethlehemite, who is skillful in playing a man of valor, a warrior, prudent in speech, and a man of good presence, and the Lord is with him." 1 Samuel 16:18. Can you feel the hand of God at work? David the boy, anointed in secret, is now summoned to the palace. His father Jesse sends him with gifts, a donkey laden with bread, a skin of wine, and a young goat. David arrives harp in hand, a humble shepherd stepping into a king's court. 2 minutes in, and David's about to meet the king. Can you imagine being called from the fields to a palace? Stay with us, because this story is about to reveal God's incredible plan. David stands before Saul, his fingers poised over the strings of his lyre. As the evil spirit grips Saul, David plays his music rising like a prayer. The notes are gentle, yet powerful, weaving peace into the chaos. Saul's torment eases his heart, calms, and the evil spirit departs. Samuel 16:23. Saul is captivated not just by the music, but by David himself. He loves him greatly and makes him his armor-bearer, a trusted role in the royal court. Saul sends word to Jesse, "Let David remain in my service, for he has found favor in my sight." 1 Samuel 16:22. This moment is profound. David, the future king, serves the very man he's destined to replace. Yet there's no pride in him, only humility. His music isn't just skill, it's a gift from God, a ministry of peace. This speaks to us today. So how often do we find ourselves in unexpected places, serving in ways we didn't plan? Like David, we're called to bring light to darkness, to use our gifts for God's glory. As Psalm 34:1, written by David, says, "I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth." 4 minutes in, and David's music is changing everything. But what does this mean for you? Keep watching, because God's purpose for David will inspire your own journey. This story isn't just about music, it's about God's timing. David's presence in the palace is no accident, it's preparation. God is training him, exposing him to leadership, and building his character for the throne. For Christians, this is a call to trust God's process. You may be in a season of waiting, serving in small ways, but God is at work. Galatians 6:9 reminds us, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." What gifts has God given you? Are you using them to serve, even in humble places? David's harp brought peace to a king, but it also set the stage for his destiny. Your faithfulness today is paving the way for tomorrow's purpose. So take heart. Play your harp, your unique gift, and trust God to open doors. 6 minutes in, and the message is clear. God uses the humble to do great things. Don't stop here. Share this story, subscribe, and let's keep exploring how God works through us. David's music fills the palace, but the story's deeper than a shepherd soothing a king. It's about God's sovereignty, placing his chosen one in the heart of Israel's power. Saul, unaware that David is anointed to succeed, him finds relief in the very person who will take his throne. This irony is God's design, showing that his plans unfold in ways we can't predict. David's role as armor-bearer isn't just a job, it's a classroom. He learns the ways of the court, observes Saul's struggles, and grows in wisdom. Yet he remains a servant playing his harp, with no hint of ambition. This humility is what makes David extraordinary. He doesn't grasp for power, he trusts God's timing. Can you relate? Maybe you're serving in a place where your calling feels hidden, where your gifts seem small. David's story reminds us that God sees every note we play, every act of faithfulness. Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord, and not for men." David's harp wasn't for Saul's applause, but for God's glory. 2 minutes into this chapter, and David's humility is shining. Can you see God preparing you in your own story? Stay with us, because this will ignite your faith. Let's look at the spiritual battle here. The evil spirit tormenting Saul represents the chaos that comes when we turn from God. Saul's disobedience opened the door to darkness, but David's music, empowered by God's Spirit, brought light. This points to Jesus, the ultimate source of peace, just as David's harp calmed Saul. Jesus brings peace to our troubled hearts. John 16:33 says, "In me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world." David's role foreshadows Christ who conquers the darkness of sin. For us, this is a challenge. Are we bringing Christ's peace to the chaos around us? Your words, actions, and gifts can be a harp, soothing the hurting and pointing them to Jesus. David didn't fight Saul's darkness with a sword, but with music. What's your harp? A kind word, a prayer, a song. Use it and watch God work. 4 minutes in, and the story's pointing to Jesus. But how can you bring peace? Tune in with us today. Don't miss the next part, where God's call gets personal. David's time in the palace is a season of growth, but it's also a test. He's close to power, yet he serves faithfully, unaware of the battles ahead. Goliath, Saul's jealousy, years of exile. His story teaches us that God's calling often starts in quiet moments, in service, in preparation. As Christians, we're called to be faithful in the now, trusting God for the next. 1 Corinthians 15:58 urges, "Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain." What's God asking you to do today? Serve in your church. Love your neighbor, trust him in a trial. David's harp changed a king's heart, but it also changed history. And your faithfulness can change lives too. So rise up, use your gifts, trust God's plan, and let your life be a melody for his glory. 6 minutes in, and the challenge is real. Will you play your harp for God? Hit that like button, share this video, and let's spread the hope of faithful service. The story of David playing for Saul is a tapestry of God's grace, woven through a shepherd's music and a king's torment. It's a reminder that God uses the humble to do mighty things. David, fresh from the fields, didn't seek the palace. God brought him there. His harp wasn't just an instrument. It was a tool of God's peace, a bridge between a fallen king and a faithful servant. This story challenges us to look at our own lives. Where is God placing you? Who is he calling you to serve? David's music didn't just soothe Saul, it prepared him for battles that would define Israel's future. Your service, however small, is preparing you for God's purpose. As Matthew 25:23 says, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master." 2 minutes in, and God's plan is unfolding. Can you see your own calling in David's story? Keep watching, because this is about to get personal. Let's make it real. Maybe you feel like David, standing in a place you didn't expect, serving in ways that feel unnoticed. Or maybe you're like Saul, wrestling with your own struggles, needing God's peace. Hear this: God is with you. He sees your heart, your efforts, your pain. The same Spirit that empowered David lives in you through Jesus. Romans 8:28 assures us all things work together for good to those who love God. Your season of service, your quiet acts of faith are part of God's masterpiece. David's story points to a greater truth. Jesus, the true King, came not to be served, but to serve. Mark 10:45. He is our peace, our strength, our calling. Like David, we're called to reflect him, to bring his light to a broken world. 4 minutes in, and the call is clear. What's your harp, and how will you use it? Don't turn away. This final challenge will set your heart on fire. So here's the invitation. Pick up your harp, whatever gift God has given you, your voice, your hands, your heart, use it for his glory. Serve where you are, love those around you, trust his timing. David's music changed a palace. Your faithfulness can change a life, a family, a community. Pray, Lord, use me. Let my life be a song for you. Then act. Share this message. Encourage someone step out in faith. The world needs your melody, your light, your love. As Philippians 2:15 says, shine as lights in the world. This is your moment. Play your harp and let God write your story. 6 minutes in, and this is your call to action. Subscribe, share this video, and let's tell the world that God uses the faithful. Leave a comment, what's your harp, and how are you using it? Let's inspire each other to live for his glory.